This podcast is brought to you by Toyota of Paris. These guys are so awesome, huge supporters of mine. Thank you so much for sponsoring my podcast. If you guys have any needs for cars, used cars, new cars, Toyota is the place to go. They're across the street from Home Depot off the loop, and you can't miss them. They have a huge American flag. It's so cool seeing that thing coming around the loop. Go check them out. Let's get this thing started. Welcome to another Paris, Texas, a podcast. This is a podcast where you get to listen to people's stories. People that have either influenced or lived in the city of Paris, Texas. I love hearing their stories, and I can't wait for you to hear the next guest. All right, guys, ready for another podcast? I have a very special one. I'm kind of excited about this one. Kenneth Thornhill, what's up, man?
Well, not much, man. How are you doing?
I'm good. So I'm gonna, if someone was trying to put a face with the name, where would they, at this current moment, where would they see you at most?
Oh, they would definitely only see me at my restaurant. I'm here all the time. Red Bear down on 208 South Main.
Now, some people call you Red Bear,
Sure,
right? That's
sure.
like a nickname of sorts.
Sure, it kind of became a nickname. The name of it came from when we were trying to start my food truck about 7 years ago. The hardest part of forming a business is trying to think of a cool name that someone else hasn't taken already.
Have you met my company's name?
Dead
Cat.
Yeah, no, I love it. I love it. So
Been there.
No, so every good idea you have has been taken.
Yes.
And so eventually, at the time, my girlfriend, she calls me Oso in Spanish. She's Venezuelan. She's now my wife, and which means bear in Spanish. So eventually, I have a big red beard. So Red Bear just
worked.
Process elimination. It worked, and we took it and just ran with it.
That's
So
awesome. So Kenneth from Red Bear, where were you born?
I was born in Dallas.
Dallas.
Yeah.
Dallas, Texas.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Awesome.
Right in Pleasant Grove.
So how long did you grow up in Dallas? How long were you there?
I bounced around a lot as a kid. I went to 3 elementary schools, 4 high schools. We moved a lot.
A lot? Okay.
I have no real...
Mostly in the Dallas area?
DFW area.
Yep,
Yeah.
okay.
Out here, my dad lives in Ben Franklin, and that was, my introduction to Paris when I was younger.
Okay. So what was your thing through school? Did you have a favorite thing to do, sport?
Well, because of my size, I played a lot of sports. It's,
Okay.
when you're a big fella, you do it. That was never my thing.
Just pastime?
It's something to do. When you go to so many schools, there's a couple of ways you can make friends. One's going to church, and the other one's being good at sports. And any school, that'll translate. So, but my real thing was music. I was in orchestra, played stand-up bass. I was a musician for most of my adult life.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, she's a mean mistress, but absolutely.
Do you still play?
I stopped pretty much playing, professionally once I opened the restaurant. That was the end of my musician days. Don't get me wrong, I hang around my friends. I'm going to break out the bass or the guitar or something.
Did you ever play with somebody super cool?
Sure. The biggest band that I played the most was with my buddy Alex Addy.
Okay.
And we had a band called Tambourine Machine, and we played, for about 10 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then I did some studio work before that. Yeah, it's just,
That's so cool.
It is cool, but, travel around in a van and slept in terrible motels.
Young man's game.
Absolutely. Didn't get paid nothing. Oh, you should have been here last week. Oh, last week you couldn't get one more person in the doors. It's a story of your life.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so you went through high school playing sports.
Sure.
And you played a little bit of music.
Sure.
When you graduated from high school, what was the plan? What were you wanting to do?
I had no idea. I am getting concernably aging and still don't know what I want to do when I grow up. Okay, it's funny. But at a high school, the first thing I did is I went to pro wrestling school.
Really?
Yeah, it seems.
Did you
fun.
wrestle in high school?
No.
You just wanted to do it.
Yeah, it wasn't offered anywhere I went. It was pretty much football. I played tennis in high school. I did everything I could, but no, not wrestling. It always seemed like fun. I went to school, and then I never did anything after that. But
really,
it was just one of those. I've never done one thing very long. I shift dramatically because I went from that to I worked at Boeing for a small stint outside of Denton.
Okay.
And they fired me as soon as they came to their senses. I mean, just
now Boeing, the plane, airplanes.
Yeah,
okay, Boeing.
yeah.
Just make sure I'm thinking the right Boeing.
Isn't that terrifying?
Yeah, it's a little.
Oh my goodness. So I went there, and then I went from there to the Army. So,
Army.
Yep.
Thank you for your service.
Oh heck, it is what it is. But
so what was your rank, or what was your job in the Army?
When I got out, I was a 240 Bravo machine gun team leader. So
Wow.
I was in the infantry, Charlie Company 431, 10th Mountain Division, Polar Bears.
Polar bears.
Polar bears.
So bears are quite an impression in your life.
It seems to have a theme almost,
yeah.
doesn't it? So yeah.
So that's awesome. So how long were you? 4 years?
4 years, a little bit longer, but about 4 years.
Awesome. So when you got out of the Army, what was the? Is there anything you miss about the Army?
Of course, you miss your buddies.
Yeah.
And with time, all the terrible stuff is forgotten. You just remember the fun stuff. The whole time I was in, I was just, I cannot wait to stop doing this one day. I'm not getting up and running. I'm not going to shave anymore. It's just all of that. And then you get out and you're like, well, I don't really know what to do now. I have no clue. I was from the time I was in Iraq, a month later, I was a waiter at a Texas Roadhouse in Tennessee.
Wow.
It's just, that's a crazy change of pace.
Yeah, for sure.
So, yeah, I mean, and then, so you miss that. I mean, I don't know. It wasn't my thing necessarily.
Yeah.
I did it. I did it the best I could, but,
That's crazy. So you came out, and so you jumped in and you started just back into the job field, and you went and started waiting tables.
Yep. The first thing I did is waited tables, just trying to figure out a game plan because you have 1,000 game plans until the first punch is thrown, so to say.
Right.
So we did that. Then we moved. Myself and my then wife at the time moved back to Texas. I went to culinary school for a short time and dropped.
Really?
Yeah, dropped out of it. That wasn't my thing.
Where'd you go to culinary school?
Art Institute in Dallas.
In Dallas.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I loved the cooking part. I didn't see why I had to take college algebra to be able to use a knife and.
They had
stuff.
college algebra.
It's a legit degree, which is the last thing I was concerned with.
Right.
And the price was just astronomical.
I bet. I've always been more of a hands-on learn guy.
Sure.
So everything from videography to graphics to even podcasting, I literally just push the button. If it's not a good button to push, then I remember don't push that button again.
Sure.
And then if I figure out a shorter way down the way, I'm like, that's why you would. So I've always been a hands-on.
Trades.
Yeah, trades. Learn this with my hands.
Sure.
Maybe watch some YouTube videos for some guidance, but
absolutely. I mean, use the resources you can.
Right. I've taken a few classes, but I've never. It always seemed to. I remember I took an art class. Sorry, I don't mean to rabbit trail.
No.
I took an art class once, and I walked in. I sat down. I was super excited. It was a drawing class. I came in, and the guy walked in. He opened up a paper sack. It's like whoosh, set it upside down, and I think he did 2 or 3 paper sacks, and then he walks out. He doesn't tell us what to do. He doesn't give us zero instruction.
Was he wearing a cape or something?
No, it was just a plain. I mean, he looked like an art guy. I mean, he looked like he was someone who was into art stuff.
Sure.
But he didn't give us any instruction. Come to find out, we were supposed to draw with chalk out this paper, right? And make it look 3-dimensional. And he came in the next day and he told us what we were supposed to do. And he's like, I want you guys to go find a tree on campus somewhere and draw a tree. And then he walks out of the room. Zero instruction, no techniques.
What a sweet gig he has.
What? I finally gave up because I was like, I want to learn. I want someone to show me what I'm supposed to be doing.
Yeah.
I later ran into someone and they're like, they said he used that as a technique to weed out people who didn't want to be there.
Huh.
So if you dropped out of the class and he didn't waste his time teaching that person anything.
Yeah.
But he did it for like 3 weeks.
Yeah. Well, it's a good thing that he is the milestone to the art world.
Right.
So.
But that was. I'm glad I didn't do it. I'd rather go out and try to learn how to draw and just try it until I figure it out.
Sure. It's especially something like that has to do with art and stuff. It's such a subjective thing, no matter what it is, that when someone else tries to teach you, well,
it's all open to your interpretation of it.
Exactly.
So before culinary school, did you have a love for cooking?
Yeah, I mean, I was always a fat kid, so, you know.
Are you saying you always loved eating?
Yeah, I absolutely love eating, and most people around me can't cook. So, you know, I don't know. It's just, it's kind of one of those things. You do what you're kind of inclined to do. I was naturally kind of good at cooking. I'm naturally kind of good at music, so that's kind of what I pushed myself towards.
Awesome. Did you look up, like I do with videography, I look up new techniques, and I look up, I see someone else did this thing. I'm like, how did they do that?
Sure.
Were you doing that before culinary school? Like trying to figure out, like, deconstructing how someone else made this meal, or does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it absolutely makes sense. But no, I never really did that. I mean, you know, when I was younger, we never got to go to fancy restaurants.
Okay.
You know, even a place like my place, we wouldn't come here. So
you're just figuring out how to make food.
It's just, yeah, well, eventually that's what it starts out with. You learn your techniques, your basics and stuff like that. And eventually it becomes, you know, in your head you think of a series of colors and how do you combine those colors, and that becomes, for me, it's very visual. That's the important thing. The thing I love about food, it's a destroyable art. I'm going to spend hours or weeks, sometimes fermenting something to make you a beautiful plate of food that you're instantly going to destroy. I love that.
That's amazing. That's
art to me. You know, a painting that lasts 400 years, I don't care about that.
Right.
But something that, you know, here's this piece of art, and I want you to destroy it the second you see it. That's cool.
An amazing thought process of how your art works. That's incredible.
Yeah, it's cool. Sometimes there's a picture taken of it. Most times there's not.
Right.
You know, and then it's just memory or stuff like that.
The other thing I love about art, and I think it translates in your world as well, because I still dabble in painting. I don't draw as much anymore, but in painting, is every person conceives it and sees it differently. Like, I love abstract painting because I want every person that walks into the room to see something differently.
Sure.
For you, everyone that tries your meal tastes it differently to them. Yeah, so that's a really cool way to think about it.
Like I said, you know, art is subjective, flavor is subjective. Some people eat cilantro and they're like, "Oh man, this is Mexican food." Some people eat it and it tastes like soap. It's a part of your brain that makes it taste like soap. So it's, I don't know, it's cool.
That's awesome. So, I'm sorry, I rabbit trailed again. I do that, though. That's okay. So you went to culinary school, and the school part wasn't for you.
No.
Did you make it to, did that inspire you to look for more?
No. So when I came to the idea I was going to quit culinary school, it was the idea that I just was not into school, and I'd already found a job in the field working for these two guys out in Dallas. And so, why do I need to go to school if I'm, you know?
You've already got the gig.
Yeah, this is what I want to do. These guys are doing the food I do. You know, it doesn't work out. Turnover's high in any business, stuff like that. And I'd stopped cooking for a long time.
Really?
I went to welding school. I was going to use that GI Bill they gave me. So, yeah.
Wow. So, okay. Sure. So, after that, you went to welding school.
Yeah, I sure did. Yeah.
You were really the jack of all trades, man.
That's kind of the idea. I don't know. I like dabbling in everything, but like I said, the idea of being an adult and knowing what I want to do is
still not there.
Still not there. I mean, I like this so far. I don't mind working 100-hour weeks. So, well, that's what it takes right now. But
and I feel you. I've always had two. We talked about this in a podcast not too long ago, but I stopped counting at 50 jobs.
Yeah.
I've always, and it's not because I didn't get along with someone and I got another job. It was that I had a job, I wanted more, so I got a second job.
Sure.
And then in some cases I got a third job.
Sure.
And then I got burnt out on 3 jobs, so I backed down to 1 job. And then I missed having stuff, so I got another job.
Yeah.
And that's been my whole life. So in my career path now, I think it's conditioned me or prepared me for working a lot of hours or juggling multiple clients or jobs, and I still do that now. I juggle multiple things, so
that's kind of your personality.
Yeah,
though. I mean it suits you. You know the suit doesn't fit unless it fits.
Right. Okay. So welding.
Yeah.
So what kind of welding did you do? Just
in school they teach you a little everything. When I got out, I did mainly flux core and a little bit of TIG and stuff like that. Did that for 6 months and realized I absolutely hate this. Oh, I hate this so much. It is hot outside or it's cold outside, and I think it was the third or fourth time I completely set myself on fire.
Oh, no.
That I was like, you know what? This is not my jam right here.
Oh, man. So welding was out.
Welding was done.
Oh.
It was done.
Can you still weld?
Sure. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
No, I love doing. I love fabricating metal. I love the welding is cool, but I love using grinders. I love fitting. Fitting is so much more fun than welding to me.
Awesome.
Welding is welding, but fitting is the actual art of it. So.
Awesome. Now, have you ever done it and created art out of it?
No. I've never had my own thing. I mean,
okay.
Everybody says they're an art when they first get a torch in their hands.
Yep.
But
not so much.
Just not. Always did it professionally. Never had a private rig where I could play around with it.
Gotcha. All right, so you went through welding. What was the next venture?
After welding, was straight up musician.
Straight up musician. Okay, here we go.
That's all I did. And so I was in Arlington. Number of little hippie bands I was in with.
Awesome.
Guys wearing sheets and stuff like that. Easy to pick me. I did not wear the sheets. It's just, as a combat veteran, I don't think I'm gonna do that.
Yep.
So, then after a while, just got tired of the city. I was getting out. You have some problems sometimes when you get out. PTSD is a real thing, and I think the main part of it is this lack of direction. But everything is always planned out, and you always have these big plans, and you get out and you don't succeed in real life the way you think you do. And so personally, I just needed some time to get away from everybody. My dad lives out in Ben Franklin. That's about as far from everybody as I know. So I went out there and just lived with him for about a year and a half. And just.
Now you're still playing, but you lived in Ben Franklin.
Pretty much stopped even doing that for a while.
Really?
I really needed to just to be by myself.
So this is fascinating. I had the exact same moment in my life where I stopped, I looked around at the people that were in my life and what I was doing in my life, and I felt like I was in the wrong place.
Yep.
So I sold everything I owned and moved to Hawaii. I wanted to move to Australia, but I couldn't get all my ducks in a row to get it to work, visas and stuff like that. So Hawaii to me was as far as I could get, but still be in America,
absolutely,
and not need a visa. Yeah. So and I wanted to be alone. I wanted to soul search me for just a little bit, and that's interesting. You kind of have the same story a little bit.
Well, I needed to be able to form an opinion on who I was and what do I think about a lot of things. Because you hang around people and they say stuff, and then somehow that becomes your identity, and I didn't want that. I just wanted to sit down and think about not fun stuff to think about, and really soul search and stuff. So
awesome. So how long did you soul search for?
About a year, really. Just really isolated myself for about a year. So.
See, I did about 8 months, and then I ran out of money in Hawaii. And then back then, they had what they called an open-ended return ticket.
Okay.
So you pay this price, and it's a round-trip ticket, but you had an open-ended return.
Sure.
So all I had to do was show back up and say, okay, I need your next flight back to Texas.
That's brilliant. So many people have done what you have done that they have now made a class of airline ticket for it.
Yeah. So I don't think they do that anymore.
No.
I think that they're probably
suckers now.
They're probably getting screwed. Yeah, they're like, man, we could charge them twice. We're not going to give them a free return. Not free. I mean, I paid for it, but
of course.
But they could have prices changed so much they didn't want to lock you in. But anyway. Yeah. And then I flew back home, and then figured out my life from there. So
yeah, sure.
That's interesting. Okay, so a year passes. What was the plan then?
Again, plan was I kind of just follow the stream where it leads me. During that time, I met my good buddy Alex Addy, and we decided we were going to make a band, and we started off with just him and I and his little apartment and stuff like that, and we did like some reggae, ska music and stuff like that. And then that turned into like a 10-year thing with a ton of other members, including our drummer we had forever, Clint Lumpkin, Sweet Tea. I named him that myself, taking full credit.
His nickname is Sweet Tea?
Yeah. Okay. So this is an interesting story. So after a while, after several years playing in the band, Alex and I, who are just two type A persons, we decided that we were getting a little bit bored with just the incredibly complicated music we play all the time. That was a joke, by the way. So, so we decided that now we're going to make a country band and give ourselves country alter egos. Okay. So his name was John Wayne Stetson. Okay. I was Danger Dean Wrangler, and in both of us we had whole backstories and accents, and it went really shamefully deep. So our drummer Clint, he wasn't as committed to like having a part as Alex and I.
Okay.
So I came up with the idea. Your name is Sweet Tea, and your gimmick is you just don't talk. And because Sweet
It's
Tea,
like Silent Bob of Jay and Silent Bob.
That's exactly where the idea came from, and with the ultimate country name I could think of, Sweet Tea.
Okay.
So yeah, and he's stuck with that ever since. So
I feel like there's a short story film in this. I want to make a video about this.
Oh, it's like the origin of Sweet Tea.
Yeah, the origin of Sweet Tea, or even the whole concept of how y'all came up with the idea of becoming an alter ego country band.
Yeah, man, it's just it's always just try to create something different. And
Did
have fun with
y'all go out and start playing as those egos?
So we learned this. We learned some songs. I went as far to buy like a shirt that the guy from Johnny Cash's shirt maker guy.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it has flowers on it. It's a train wreck of a shirt, but it's great, man. It's so great, you know.
That's awesome.
You're like a peacock when you walk down the street in this thing. But no, it's just the best. Unfortunately, all of our hard work, one of us backed out, and it doesn't matter who it was. It was the one who didn't even talk. But
oh, okay. So how long did y'all play for?
Alex and I played probably almost 10 years together, at least almost 10 years. And
that's crazy.
Yeah, then I got out and I did a project with Sweet Tea and a horn section we had from the last band. Then I did a heavy metal project for a little bit. And, you know, just played some music, and then had been doing the food truck for a while at that point. So
was most of this cover music, or was it you all wrote and everything?
Yeah,
wow.
We wrote, we recorded, you know, we did everything ourselves.
That's impressive.
You know, I mean, you throw cover songs in there
occasionally, yeah.
You have to, you know, or break into one in the middle, like after your last chorus, you know, something like that, just to get them shaking one more time. But you know, no, we're mostly original.
What's your favorite song you've ever written or been a part of writing or collabed on? Or
oh man, I have no idea.
And are there still recordings of this floating around?
Oh yeah, no, totally. We sold CDs. It was Alex Addy and the Tambourine Machine, and then just the Tambourine Machine. We have 2 CDs out. You can find them on iTunes everywhere.
Really?
Oh yeah, no. I mean, we have.
Looking that
they're
up.
on Spotify. We have. We play them here at the restaurant every now and then.
Oh wow!
I still hate hearing myself. It's just the worst thing in the world. Hearing like that's really, you know. I was so much more cool in my head. It's. You know.
Yeah, you're always cooler in your head.
Absolutely.
I mean, when you're in the middle of doing it, you're like, I sound so awesome.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you hear it back later, and you're like, no, what was I doing?
Oh man, I must have sinuses that day or something.
Yeah, totally. That was an off day. I remember that day. It was an off day. Oh, that's awesome. I'm gonna Tambourine Machine.
Tambourine Machine. Yeah.
I'm so looking you guys up when we leave.
Great, and again, that was just so many crazy things happened to us on the road. I mean, especially in bars constantly. Okay, we had a girl come up to us and eat our CD in front of us.
Like, just start.
Like, broke the CD, and I love you guys. Here's the exact way she worded it. I love you guys so much. I want you inside me. So there was a moment that him and I looked at each other and we're like, all right. But, you know, and then she proceeds to eat
the CD.
The CD, which is not where I pictured that going after that, you know. So
oh, you're like, that's not refundable.
Yeah, you've already bought that. You break it, you buy it.
You break it, you bought it. That's crazy.
Need a T-shirt to wash that down with or something.
We have more merch in the back. If you want to eat it, that's fine.
We sold toothbrushes with our name on it because it was the dumbest merch we could think of.
That's great.
That's great. It's dumb, but I loved it.
That's fun. I have to think about that. Dead cat toothbrushes.
I mean, you know, you got to show you care about dental hygiene.
Yeah, for sure. for sure. I'm gonna have to look into that. Okay, so you're on tour band world for 10 years.
Sure. Yeah.
And you got out of it. Now, did you get out of it because it was just, again, a young man's game and it was getting hard?
It was a lot of things. The last project kind of left a bitter taste in my mouth a little bit. And it's just, then you're like, if it's going to happen, it would have happened.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what it happening means. That's not a thing.
And then somewhere in there, you started the food truck.
Sure, yeah. In 2000, you remember the big ice apocalypse we had out here?
I do remember the big ice apocalypse.
That was my first night open.
Nuh-uh.
I had to navigate broken trees and stuff with my brand new chimney and trailer combo. And, we parked outside of the depot.
Really?
Yep.
That's awesome. Not awesome and awesome at the same time.
On the far end of the parking lot because they wouldn't let me park next to the building. So I was down like closer to the sheriff department than the depot, maybe.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, have you met your wife yet as a girlfriend?
Yeah.
In the story?
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, so, okay. So I was in the band, and and we used to pay.
She didn't eat your CD, did she?
No, not yet. So, we used to pay a guy, $20 to put on. We had this robot outfit we put together, and just have him dance while we play.
Okay.
It was just, like I said, fun. So she took a picture of the guy in the robot outfit. And because she's a photographer, and an architect, and funny, and
she's amazing. I've met her multiple times,
and hopefully listening. So, so she took a picture, and then later on we were looking for cover arts for the back of the CD, and there's this really good picture of our robots. So I just ripped it off and put it on the CD, right? Because it's our
robot.
You're taking a picture of our robot. So that leads to an argument of her going, hey, you used my picture without asking, and me going, well, it's of my property, so I'm going to use it. Yeah, anyway, that was kind of our first introduction of one another.
So it started out on a rough patch.
It did. Fortunately, she didn't think it was me she was having those online communications with. She thought it was Alex, and I never bothered.
Until now, you haven't told her.
No, she knows by now. But I'm already married to her.
Okay,
gotcha.
Gotcha.
Yeah, you ain't getting away at this
Bear
point.
hug.
So yeah. So we met, and then one day we were doing a little acoustic show outside the old Paris Bakery.
Yep.
And she was there. It was so we started talking.
Yeah. One thing led to another.
Kept on going.
Awesome.
So yeah. No, she's been with me for 8 years. So
that's amazing.
Long time.
Okay, so were y'all married at the opening of the trailer?
No.
Not yet?
No, we didn't get married till last year, so we were
really
6 years into the trailer before we got married.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you got to make sure.
Make sure, double check.
Absolutely. Sometimes it takes 20, 30 years to make sure you got the right one.
Right.
But
when she checks as many boxes with architect and you gotta put a ring on that, lock it down.
Yeah, and she's very sneaky and will catch me slipping one day or something like that, and I don't want that.
No. I remember my first experience with you was you had pulled up into where the pumpkin patch is, and I don't remember, it was for an event. Me and my family were walking around downtown, and then we were gonna go home and eat, but we had never tried your trailer before, so we ducked in there, and you had chairs lined up on the grassy part of that part, and it was the whole experience was one of those like memorable experiences. The food was good, the location was good, they had the lighting up at that point, and all the lights worked, and
the burnout's such a nice little spot too. I love that spot.
The only part that's bad probably for you is it's so hidden. Like once you pull up in there, you can look down the road and be like, I don't see anything, and just keep on walking.
And not at all the easiest thing to back your trailer.
I cannot even imagine.
Just it's tricky, but and then if the wind catches it right, all your smoke blows back into your trailer, which happens more often than not. But no, it was a good spot, and and even this is even kind of funny. One of the reasons I started my food truck is that I was fired from the building we're currently sitting in while I was cooking.
No way.
Yep. When this place a long time ago, my buddy Matt Coyle owned it, and it was called Boat Ark.
Yep.
I was the first sous chef of Michael Perry here when it started out, and I worked here a year, something like that.
Really?
I did.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, so he fired me because he's just a mean person. He's just no. I was a musician. I didn't show up some weekends. I would tell him I'm not coming a month in advance, but I wasn't a chef at the time. I was a musician.
There you go.
And business is business.
Business is business. Okay, that's very interesting.
Yeah.
Okay, so when you opened your food truck, was it was strictly pizza mostly, right?
Only pizza. Only wood-fired pizza.
Wood-fired pizza
cheesecake.
And sides.
Yep. Wood-fired pizza and cheesecake.
Cheesecake, that was it.
Those two things, yep.
So how did you do that the whole time, or did you start branching out?
Oh, I did tons of things out of there.
Oh, wow.
I did Greek food in there. I did burgers, obviously in there. I did Venezuelan food out of there.
Wow. So was that when you got into like your experimental phase? Had you cooked those before, or were you just trying new things because you really wanted to learn about these new things?
So both. A lot of the things, it's like driving. And once you know how to drive a vehicle, you can drive pretty much any car.
Right.
Yeah. Once you know how to make food taste good, you just got to figure out what you're looking for. Like if you're looking for spicy, sweet, acidic, texture-wise, if you want it chewy, crunchy, you start combining all of that, and that's how you formulate your food. It's just off of like my ketchup. My ketchup, I want it to be sweet. I want it to be acidic. I want you to taste the tomato. That's pretty much it. I want to be able to cut through good.
Okay.
So that's what I go for with the ketchup, and you just mix it until you
get it right.
Until you mix all those nouns up,
Gotcha.
So, but yeah, along the way is, so I'm doing the food truck, and I was the first food truck in Paris. Me or Taco City. He had his old rig at the time, but it was definitely one of us.
So you started a trend of sorts.
I did. I'm taking full credit for it.
Okay.
Full credit. Everybody that has a food truck owes me a nickel.
I think that's true.
I think it's fair and true.
Yeah.
So, no. So, I did that forever, and you always want the brick and mortar, but it just seems completely unobtainable. To you, it's So, eventually, along the way, I did the Wine Fest and won it a few times, and I got to go on a couple of like Food Network shows, and that helped.
I was going to get there.
Okay.
So how did that happen?
But by the dumbest possible means, one time my girlfriend, now wife, came up to me. She's like, "Hey, you want me to fill you out an application for the Food Network?"
Sure.
I go, "Okay." Oh, and then so she does. A year and 2 years later, we get an email going, "Hey, congratulations, you made it to step 2. Now we need some more personal information." Right? Yep, and as you do that, then you go through a process where you got to send them a bunch of pictures of your dishes, which was a problem because I was just in the food truck. I had no fine restaurant-looking pictures of my food because it was just pizza.
Food truck, yeah.
I'll show you some pizzas all day.
Yeah.
But so I had to go into my fridge, which was not well stocked, and make like 12 different complete separate dishes out of just whatever I had in the fridge, which was like I had one piece of salmon,
Yeah.
And I did that. I sprayed it all with WD-40 at the end to make it shiny. Just any little secret I heard along the way to make your food look better. I'm sitting there with a light, and stuff like in a mister, and just.
Oh, that's great.
It's magical. It's like every.
And your now wife, then girlfriend, did she take the pictures for you?
Absolutely. She takes all the pictures of everything we do.
That's awesome.
She's great at that. So why would we? Don't.
It
works.
Don't go any other way.
It works, and I don't have to do it, so it works even better.
So, are there any other stages past stage 2, or after stage 2 did you just?
Yeah, no. Then you got to like meet with the producers online and get FaceTime and get a little one-on-one, so they can kind of get a grip of how you talk and if you can talk and stuff like that. So then they immediately told me, "Then cool, you're in." As soon as they had the FaceTime.
Really?
How bad is everybody else applying for these shows that they see this and they're like instantly, you know what? You're on, big feller.
That's great.
It's insane.
So were you ever nervous, or did you just kind of just own it?
Yeah, of course you're nervous. I mean, you fly to Hollywood on the first one. I did 2 times, and there were 2 different locations. So you go to Hollywood, and you go to one of these big film studios, and there's just tons of big rectangular buildings, and like, oh, that's where they shot the X-Files or whatever.
Yeah.
Then we get to ours and stuff like that, and they're putting makeup on you and stuff like that, and you're like, oh, this is...
How do you put makeup on a red beard?
Well, you don't. Fortunately, they left all this alone. And also the lady said, you're the first person ever to come through here that needs no makeup.
Thank you,
question
mark?
Yeah, and then she proceeded to put makeup on me. I think she was being sarcastic. So, whatever.
Yeah.
So, so you go and you compete at the show, and then there's Alton Brown standing right there. And
did you know who he was before?
Sure, yeah, no, Good Eats. I used to watch Good Eats,
awesome.
And I knew what Cutthroat Kitchen was before I went on.
Awesome.
And did that one. Came in second place, which
I remember. My wife's into those shows.
Yeah.
I'm not a reality TV show guy. It's just not my world.
No, I'm with you.
But I occasionally watch them with my wife whenever she's doing something. But I remember watching that one and thinking, rock and roll, somebody from Paris, Texas made it.
Yeah, no, and while I was on there, I was told I was one of the best trash talkers on that show. It's constant. I'm constantly sneaky and mean and stuff that whole show, and it's so funny because
I bet they loved filming you.
They loved it. I made Alton Brown laugh once, which apparently is
hard to do.
Well, he's not the most outgoing.
That's
at times,
fun.
So, but no, it was a crazy experience. Got to go to a big fancy hotel, the Standard in downtown LA.
Awesome.
It was cool. It was a paid vacation.
And so you didn't do that just once; you did it twice.
Yeah.
Same show?
Well, kind of the same show, but yeah, the same premise show.
Okay.
It was called Camp Cutthroat.
Okay.
And so it was outside version of
Okay.
the show. So yeah, I want to say a year and a half later, they contacted me again and said they're doing a tournament. And everyone who'd been on the tournament, one had won, which is silly that I was on there.
That is silly, yeah.
Well, it's because I talk such good trash. It has nothing to do with...
He's really good on camera. Bring him back, please.
I really think that's what it was. So, because...
I tell you, I'm not in the business like they're in the business, but I can tell you from as much in the business on video stuff, if you find somebody who's good on camera, use them.
Sure.
Because it's hard to find.
Yeah, well, it was super fun. I got drugged behind a jet ski that time, and it got second place again.
Second place again.
But the guy that beat me won the whole tournament, so there's that. Lucky. He's lucky is what he is. I disagree strongly with that decision, but whatever.
If they called you again for round 3, would you do it?
Yeah.
In a heartbeat?
Yeah, I would do that one. There's certain shows. I've turned down several shows as well.
Really?
It doesn't matter which ones, but there's a certain... I like having fun. I like, I'll get drugged behind a jet ski. I would love to do an actual culinary, like Chopped would be a great one. But then there's other ones where it's just a little bit too goofy, and I'm good on those. Man.
Yeah, no, it makes sense. I don't like the ones that where they're overly mean to where the judges are overly mean to the contestants.
Yeah, so that's weird, man, how that works, because when I watch how they did it to me and how they clip my words. So when the judge is there and he eats your food, he'll give you a 10-minute spiel about, this is good and this is good and this is good. And then they just crop little, it's TV magic, of course.
Yeah.
It's editing.
Oh, yeah, I get that.
And then they put it together to make it sound like he's just jumping on you and destroying you. And that's not at all what they do most of the time. Now, one of them, the guy's like, this is straight up disgusting. And that was all that needed to be said. So there was nothing else.
Oh, man. No, and I get that. I totally get that. I get, and I guess I mean more towards the edit of how it comes out. If you're gonna bash somebody that much, it seems harsh.
It does,
but I'm not talking about any food. I'm actually talking about one of my wife's, because I don't watch a lot of these. She's got one of these dress shows or something, and maybe it's a home improvement show. I can't remember, but they are so negative, and it seems like that's all they are is negative. There's very little positive.
Yeah,
I'm like, man, I can't watch this because there's too much negative drama. I don't need negative drama in my life, so I don't want to watch it.
No. And those people are probably very pleasant in their real lives. They're completely content with themselves.
Yeah.
I like the only cooking show I've ever liked is like that Great British Baking Show, because
my wife loves that
they're
show.
all so friendly to each other. Oh, what's that? You dropped your cake? I'll make you another one.
They're so nice.
Yeah, I love that. And then the hostesses are adorable.
Yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, my wife. That's one that I'll sit in and watch a few times with my wife. I like that one a lot. And then they have an American version of that, don't they?
Yeah, they do, but it's
not as fun.
There's something about them accents, man. It makes the food look and taste better. I swear it does.
Instantly.
Yeah. First of all, when they're like, "We're making biscuits today," I have no idea what they mean. Do they mean cookies? Do you mean biscuits? Do you mean crisps? What's a crisp exactly?
Love it.
It's great. It's everything good.
That's another question I have, and maybe you can answer it. So, how do you learn the lingo? Like, when I do watch those shows, I'm like, how do you even know how to say those words? Like,
well, that's kitchen talk.
Talk. So it's just something you learn in the process.
Yeah, I mean, everybody knows some of it. Everybody knows julienne. Everybody's heard that term. Everybody knows what a chop or an immense is and stuff. Batinettes.
See, I don't know what that is.
It's just a bigger cut than a julienne. It's just they're fancy French words that people give to make their stuff sound more hoity-toity than what it is. There's a snobbery around a lot of food that I just can't take. And that's one of it. Like, look, absolutely have your knife skills, and if I tell you give me a medium dice, know what that means.
Right.
But my medium dice and your medium dice are different.
Yeah.
In every restaurant, they're different.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It's food. It's supposed to be accessible. It's supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to feel pretentious, even though sometimes you got to use them college words, because that's actually what it is. And I'm still paying them student loans off, so I'm going to use the words.
There you go. All right, so now let's talk about how you got to the brick mortar.
Yeah. So we were. My wife is an architect, like I said, and she's the architect over at HWH.
Mm-hmm. That's where I first met her. Well, I technically met her in the Burnout, but when I first met her I've done a couple things with her was at HWH, doing some jobs with them.
Yeah. No, she's great.
Super great.
So, and one day she was talking to, I can't remember if it was either Jordan or Holland Harper, one of the two. And
brothers.
Absolutely. They're brothers, and the whole family are just great people.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, hey, ask them about the old Boat Arc building, or the Perry's off the Square building.
Because it had been down for a little bit, empty.
For a little bit. It went through several iterations after me. It became Perry's off the Square, which my buddy Michael Perry ran. Then it became some main place. For a very short period of time. And it was something else in the middle of that I don't even remember.
Okay.
But so it sat vacant for a little bit. And so I'm like, hey, well, let's...
And it's a premium location. Like, I love this spot.
This is the best spot in Paris to me.
Yes.
I love my backyard. I love the feel of the inside.
It's full of history and...
It's history. I mean, this was a service station in the 30s. This was a taxi cab company. There's a giant antenna in my backyard. At one point, this was part of the theater before the Great Fire. I mean, this spot in Paris has been here a long time. And so, and again, when I worked here, I always knew I loved this spot. So when I got it, I had to take a moment to really think. It's kind of crazy that I actually got this.
Yeah.
I don't know how.
Right.
So it happens.
It just happens.
Yeah. So anyway, so she made the idea to it, and then we started talking to several of them, including Alex Harper, which is the sister, and she was just the best at helping us, and so was Susie Harper, Chip's wife.
Yep.
And they all really believed in me and that I could make this place cool, because what they really want is this part of town to be cool.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what they want.
They're passionate about that.
It's all they think about, other than whatever business matters they handle in the office. They work all the time trying to make this part of Paris and downtown Paris hip and cool, and bring in young people who are energetic.
Yeah.
They want young people here. So it was really cool that they would offer eventually offer me this place.
That's awesome.
So yeah, no, I have nothing bad to say about them.
So you're in here, I loved what y'all have done with the decoration.
Thanks.
I love the vibe, the atmosphere, all of it is just. I remember I got really excited. You guys did a couple videos and some social media stuff as y'all were. I mean, y'all weren't even open yet, but you were just kind of giving people these sneak peeks of what it was going to look like and stuff like that. And I just could not help but think, oh, how much fun is this?
It's fun. It's the best part of a video game is when you're building your character up. Once your character's level 99, who cares?
Right. Right.
So it's coming into a place and all of this has got to go. This has all got to change, and then doing it because you can't afford to pay no one else.
Right.
So it was us and friends that came here and painted it and built this bench. And Kit from Paris Bakery, which has the best restaurant in Paris. Go eat Paris Bakery. Gave me the chairs. These are the lamps from the old Paris Bakery. He gave me those chairs. This is all stuff that was given to me by a guy who owns a restaurant 1 block away, and it's supposed to be competition, but we're not.
Well, and I love that because it just shows the true heart of our community.
Yeah.
And I feel like people don't get to see that as often as I would like them to see that. I loathe negative competition. Like when someone takes it to the point that they're bashing another person so that they can get a couple more sales.
Yeah.
Like, I think having more people downtown only does both your businesses good.
Sure.
So why not work together? Why not give old chairs? Why not be supportive of your people around you and hope that you grow and build something that's bigger and better so that it benefits everyone on this block, on this downtown square, in this city, in this county,
absolutely,
in Texas. Like, just we're way better together than we are fighting.
Absolutely. And even our menus show that. I make food for him, he serves in his restaurant. He makes all my breads mostly.
Awesome.
My hamburger buns he makes. Anything, sliced sourdough, all comes from him. But when I had my food truck, he would let me use the old Paris Bakery's mixer to make my dough for the food truck. No, I mean, he's giving me a ton of stuff.
Great.
He's a good guy.
He's actually on my list. I have this list of want-tos on my like a podcast list. I want these people on my podcast, and he is on that list.
He absolutely needs to be on that list.
I haven't approached him yet, but I mean to.
But him being right over there and me being here, it makes this, food-wise, the coolest spot in Paris. I mean,
awesome.
Within a block, you have 4 really good restaurants.
Yes.
2 of them make everything from scratch almost.
That's amazing.
Love him and myself. So it's doing it the hard way. That's the important way of doing it.
Yep.
It's not cool if you just buy it and throw it in a deep fryer.
Right.
Yeah. It might be. It's for some people. That's not cool for me. I don't care about the money side of it.
It comes back to the art form of it.
That's all it is.
Yeah.
The money was whatever.
No.
I got to charge what I charge because you will be surprised how much one of these things costs to run.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous, man. Like, I was not expecting to spend as much as I did on this.
That's so crazy. I feel like a lot of people underestimate the cost of owning and running your own business. Sure. I run into it all the time.
Sure. I mean, they just see a dining room full of people, figure I'm spending this much, so this guy's making that much.
Right.
Man, it's such not how it is. And,
you got employees, you've got normal bills, air conditioned.
Thousands of dollars a week in food.
Yeah.
It's in alcohol and things like that. And, everybody has their hand out too. So.
Well, yeah, and then even like running credit cards and running the machine that runs the credit, all that costs money.
Everything costs money. There's so many hidden little costs, and then you got taxes that creep up on you. So no, but it's great. I mean, it's odd, but I think I've never heard of a restaurant. I've been able to pay all my own bills and make a slight profit my first year, even though technically my 7th year, of just because the Paris community and they support you, and we're getting new faces in here all the time.
Yeah,
and, 98 out of 100 are cool, but then there's that 2 out of 100 too.
You know what else I love, and I don't know this person, but I'm just gonna give her a shout out.
Okay.
So I was in here a week or so ago with Cass Haley doing some stuff, and one of your employees, she's so awesome. I don't know who she is, but she has big white hair.
Stacia.
Oh my gosh! I come in here and I'm just like, she's cool. I want to be her friend.
No, you do. She's a sweet person. She's just the best.
I'm the worst, and I've said this again on this podcast a bunch. I'm the worst icebreaker there is. I wish I was the person that could see that and like run up and like give her a hug and be her friend instantly, because that's what I want to do, but I can't do that. Like my personality doesn't work that way. But I think she is the coolest looking person in Paris, Texas.
No, she's
aside from us, obviously.
Yeah, well, of course, but no, she definitely has her own thing going.
Yeah,
She puts a lot of effort into it, and it pays off for her.
And she's good. She did our table, and she was excellent.
We have amazing front of house. Her and Charlotte's, they're just the best.
Awesome. And that's hard to find.
Oh man, well they came quick and easy. It's been the kitchen that's been the problem.
Man, I've been in multiple positions where good help is really hard to find sometimes.
Oh, sure. Well, right now it's just me in the kitchen. My wife helps.
Really?
My wife helps when she gets off work because
kitchen help is just hard.
It's hard to find. There's a lot of reasons why someone can't work in the kitchen with me.
Because they're playing a band and they never show up.
Playing a band because it's punishment for past mistakes is all it is.
Oh man. Well, thank you so much for being on my podcast.
No, man. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it, dude.
And listeners, if you have not been to the Red Bear new location, well, not new. How long have you been here?
I've been here almost a year now.
Almost a year. So it's still kind of new. But if you haven't eaten at Red Bear or you've not been to the Red Bear location, you need to go and try it. It's super cool. What are your open times?
Yeah, so we're open Wednesday through Sunday. You got Wednesday and Thursday, we're going to be open from 5 to 9. On Friday, we're open 5 to 10. Saturday, 2 to 10. And Sunday, we're open for brunch. And brunch is going to be from 10 till 2. Different menus for a lot of the days. Right now, we're doing pizza, burgers, kind of a favorites, giant chicken parmesans that I make. Just everything that I like. Saturdays, we don't do pizzas because my buddy at Paris Bakery does pizzas.
Yep.
And I'm not going to.
Don't do it.
He's my buddy.
Yeah.
So we do steaks or just whatever special I feel like doing that week. That's my fun day.
I have heard from a couple people that they love that you're open on Sunday brunch because there's not many people that do that.
Yeah, and I can understand why. It is a difficult transition. Getting out of here at midnight, being back at 4 or 5. So, but it's just, I keep saying it. That's what's cool to me.
That's what's awesome.
Brunch is a fun meal. It's everybody loves brunch. Who doesn't love mimosas?
Especially on Sunday.
Mimosas, sangria. I mean, that's all right.
Do it.
So yeah, come do it.
All right, thank you again so much for being on my podcast.
Oh, dude, can't thank you enough, man. Appreciate you.
All right.
I just want to give one more big shout out to Toyota of Paris for sponsoring this podcast. These guys are super awesome. Go check them out. Again, off the loop, across from Home Depot. You can't miss them. The huge American flag. I love seeing that thing. Go check them out. As always, we post a new podcast every Monday. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.